welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am Emily and my channel's name is Sunny Days. In today's video, I'm going to be creating this holiday look for you guys. So if you are interested, please continue watching and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that push notification bell to see future videos. I will link all of my past videos in the description box below, so don't forget to check those out as well. So stay tuned and we are getting right into it. All right, the first product I have already used today is this Aveeno Ultra Calming Daily Moisturizer. I use this as my moisturizer and my primer for today's look. And the second product I'm going to be going in today with is the foundations. I'm going to be using this Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. And this is in the shade F7. So I'm going to be mixing these two foundations on my skin today. This one's a little bit more full coverage. This one isn't as full coverage, but I like the finish of this. So this is the Dream Urban Cover Foundation by Maybelline, and this is in the shade 112. So the first thing I'm just going to be doing is I'm kind of just going to be putting this on the reddest parts of my cheeks, because it does help give a little bit more coverage. Now, this shade is pretty dark. I used this after we came back from the beach, so it is a little bit too dark for me, and that's why I'm going to be going in with this Maybelline one, because it's a little bit lighter, and I really do like the finish of this foundation. And I'm just going to be putting that foundation on my beauty blender, and I'm actually going to be using quite a bit of this one just because I want the color of this foundation. And then I'm just going to be going right over on top of that and blending it out like so. And I'm making sure I'm really pressing this into the skin, because I don't want it to look like it's just kind of sitting there. I want it to look as natural as possible. And then I'm just going to be adding just the slightest bit more onto my beauty blender, and I'm going to drag it down my neck. The next product I'm going to be going into is this Tarte Double Duty Shape Tape Concealer. Yes, I do just have the mini because I am still testing it out. This is going to be in the shade Fair Neutral is the shade name for this concealer. And I'm just going to be taking it. This is a pretty full coverage concealer, so I'm just going to be taking it right up underneath my eyes, especially in those dark circles and those creases there. I really want to hide those. So I'm just going to be dragging it down and just creating a triangular shape here on my eye. Just doing the same thing on the other eye there. Dragging it down and creating a triangular shape. Next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding it on my forehead here, and I just kind of do 3 little marks, as you can see, so it brightens it up in that direction. I drag it down the nose here. I do a little bit on my Cupid's bow. Whatever product I have left over after blending this out, I will put on my chin. So I'm going to be going in with that same beauty blender, and I'm just going to be blending this out, not really trying to move it around. But I want to keep it in kind of where I've already placed it. So I'm just kind of going in and tapping underneath the eye, and I drag it down here at the bottom just a little bit to kind of help blend it out. But right here in the corner is where I want to keep it the most. So I'm just going to be tapping. I'm not wiping, I'm not dragging, I'm just barely tapping it right into that inner corner. And then I'm just going to be going on my forehead here and blending that out as well. This one I'm not being as precise with. I'm just kind of tapping it out onto the forehead to brighten that up a little bit. And then down my nose, I want to keep it right there in the middle, right here on the bridge. I'm just going to keep it right there, blending that out. Then I'm going to go in and get my Cupid's bow. And yes, it's going to be covering up your lips just a little bit, but we will go in at the end and wipe that off. So I just go in and make sure everything is well blended out. And then I just go in on my chin with that leftover product and put right there. And then I'm just going to go in right here and make sure once again that everything is well blended out, making sure that there's no like harsh line and harsh way of, you know, putting it on there saying, hey, I've got concealer on. So I'm just going to be going in once again, blending all that out. Okay, and once I've got that blended out, I'm going to be going in with my setting powder. I'm going in with the HD Flawless Setting Powder, and this is from Absolute New York. I have really been liking this setting powder. It doesn't give me any flashback, and that's why I chose this for this holiday look, because you do a lot of photos with family during the holidays, and so you want a setting powder that's not going to give you flashback in photos, because the last thing you want is making a white cast on your face when taking photos. And this is going to be in the shade Universal Translucent, and you can actually find this at TJ Maxx or on their website. I actually got mine at TJ Maxx for, I believe it was only $2.99, which is a fantastic deal. And if you would like to see those videos, I do have it linked below if you want to check out everything that I found from TJ Maxx. And it does come with a little pad here, and I actually do use that to go underneath my eyes. So I'm just going to be going in with that pad and placing it underneath my eyes. All right. And then I'm just going to be going in with a big fluffy brush from BH Cosmetics in the number 1. And I'm going to be using this brush to finish the rest of my face. So I'm just tapping into that setting powder. Tapping off the excess. And then I'm just going to be going in with the rest of my face, setting that foundation and concealer. And the reason why I do this is because a lot of times I don't like to use a lot of setting powder on my entire face because I don't want it to look too cakey. So using a brush will help dispute it a little bit easier, and it won't set it to one specific spot. So it kind of just lays it nicely over the face instead of being chunky and cakey on the face. And I'm also going to be using that setting powder on my neck because when you are doing holidays, you know, a lot of times people are wearing white or black or red or whatever. You don't want your makeup transferring onto your shirt if you do have to drag your makeup down your neck. So using this setting powder will kind of hold it in place and keep it from transferring onto your clothes. And then after that, I'm just going to be going in and sweeping away this excess setting powder underneath my eyes. Next, I am going to be going into the Hoola Benefit bronzer. I really like this bronzer. This has been my go-to for every day here lately. It is a beautiful color. I believe it will fit just about any skin tone. This is fantastic. It's a really hard time for me when it comes to finding the right bronzer because you don't want it to look too muddy, especially with a lighter skin tone. It's harder to find. So I'm just going to be going in with that same big fluffy brush from BH Cosmetics in the number 1, and I'm just going to be tapping in to that bronzer here, and we're going to be using this just to warm up the face. We're not going to be doing it too precise. We're just going to be going in kind of on the sides and on the top of our foreheads just to warm up the face and get it ready for the contouring. And I like to do my bronzer a little bit higher than usual. I like to go on my cheeks here, almost like where you would put your blush. I like to just raise it up just a little bit to kind of help define my face just a little bit more, since I do have a rounder shaped face. And you want to make sure you're going in and really blending that out, because you don't want it to be harsh and overwhelming. So I'm going in and just circular motions up and down. Circular motions are the best just because you can blend everything out while doing that. So that's what I'm going to be doing there. Then I'm going to be taking it and putting it at the top of my forehead here. And I'm just focusing it in these corners. All right, so that is going to be it for the bronzer. Next, I'm going to be going into the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in the light to medium shade. I'm going to be using this middle shade down here at the bottom, and I'm going to be focusing that just right in here, not doing too much because I don't want it to be harsh. So I'm just going to be going in with a super light hand. And I'm going to be going in with the BH Cosmetics brush in the number 3. I'm just going to be tapping into that product. And then I'm going to be going pretty high up, right at the edge of my cheekbone, which is about right here. And I'm just going in with a super light hand. And just making it just the slightest bit darker. And then I'm going to be going in right on my forehead and just focusing it right on my hairline in those corners. I'm going to be going in with blush next, and I'm going to be using the Tarte blush in the Amazonian Clay 24-hour blush in the shade Feisty. I want to use just a little bit of a darker blush than I would normally on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to be going in with this big brush here, and it's super fluffy. So I'm just going to be tapping into that blush there. And I'm just placing it right here on my cheeks. And I know it looks a little overboard right now, but what I do is I like to put quite a bit on, and then I go in with my big fluffy brush again, and I just blend it out and kind of melt it into that contour. And then I am actually going to be going in with 2 highlighters today. The first one is going to be the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive. This one is kind of more of a natural within glow, so I definitely want to use this first. And I'm going to be going in with this highlighting brush here. And I'm just going to be putting it right here on my cheekbones. And I'm actually going to be bringing it down just the slightest over my blush. Then I'm going to be going in right here on my nose and the slightest bit on my forehead. Then I'm going in with the Artist Couture Summer Haze highlighter. This one's a little bit more of a blinding highlight. That's why I like to use it. So I'm just going to be dipping into the pan, tapping out the excess, and putting it right here, just on the edge there, to give it more of that blinding effect. Tip of my nose and on the bridge, and that is it. All right, and then I'm actually going to be going in and setting this first. This is the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set. They've redone their packaging, and I think they've redone the product. It has been amazing since I've used it. My makeup does not move at all when I use it, and it's very, very affordable. You can get it at any drugstore, so I highly recommend this. So I'm just gonna be going in and giving my face a quick set. And then the next thing I'm actually going to be doing is my brows. Now, I am not fantastic at brows, so I'm just going to do this off camera and then I will be right back. But before I do, I just wanted to let you know what I'm going to be using. I'm using the Billion Dollar Brows Universal Brow Pencil. Some people like this and some people don't. I love it, truly. I think that it works perfect for me. It comes with a great spoolie. I love that. And then it has the twist up and down part. I really do like this brow pencil, so I'm going to be doing those real quick and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, now it is time for eyeshadow. I've got my brows on and we are ready to go, and this is going to be the main part of the whole video, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first palette I'm going to be going in today with is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 palette. And I am actually just going to be using this palette for the base shade, and I'm going to be going in with Tiki, which is right here. And I'm going to be using the Morphe M433 blending brush, and I'm dipping into that color, and I'm just going to be blending this all over my lid, just giving my eyeshadow a base to go off of. So as you can see, I'm kind of just blending this all over. All right, the next shade I'm going to be going into is actually from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm going into the shade Silk Cream, which is going to be this shade right here. This is Silk Cream, and I'm going to be putting that into my crease. So I'm just getting some of that product, tapping off the excess, and I'm just going to be putting it right into my crease right here. As you can see, I'm going back and forth and mixing it with circular motions, just kind of doing a mixture of both to make sure it is blending out. And just putting it into that crease, going back and forth using windshield wiper motions and circular motions. And I'm going to kind of keep this higher on my brow bone, closer to my brows and in that crease. And that is where I am focusing that shade. Now we are going to be using reds today in a little bit deeper shades, so I am going to be going in with the BH Cosmetics number 8, and as you can see, it is a super small blending brush because I want to be very precise with this color, and I don't want to overload because then it will end up looking very muddy if you put too much on at a too fast of a time. So now I'm going to be going into the shade Jax, which is this deep red color. And I'm going to be focusing it a little bit lower than that color there, but focusing it on the crease. Now I'm just going to be creating a V with this color, and I'm going to be making sure I'm blending this color out really well because you don't want that harsh line from the brown to the red. Now that I've got that in my crease, I am going to be going into the Morphe 3503 Fierce by Nature palette. And I'm going to be going into this shade right here. It looks pink, but it is just like a bright red. And I'm going to be going in with that same brush that I just used, the BH Cosmetics in number 8. And I'm just grabbing just the slightest bit of it, and I'm just going to be putting it on top of what I just placed. Now that I've got those in place, I'm taking my Morphe M433 and I'm going to go in and just blend everything together to make it look a little more seamless and no harsh lines. And as you can tell, I just go in on my edge right there because I really want to make sure that that part is super blended out and smooth. And then I'm just going to go over with a super light hand over the top of those shadows just to make sure they're all blended. Same with this side. Going over the top to make sure it is all blended together. And for the last color, we're going into the Pure Festival palette in the shade 24 Karat Magic. It's about this little silvery, goldy color there. And we're going to be mixing it with the shade up here in Free Spirit. And I'm just going to be taking the brush that I used to carve out my brows, and I'm going to be spraying with a little bit of that e.l.f. setting spray. And I'm going to be grabbing Free Spirit first and just placing it on the eyelid. And I'm going to be using that shade to kind of carve out the lid the slightest bit. And as you can see, I carved it out there. And I'm going to come over to this side here and do the same thing. And I'm just taking it from the inner corner up and around, following the shape of my eye. And just putting it all over the lid. And I did experience just the slightest bit of fallout, so I'm going to take my big fluffy brush and sweep away that excess eyeshadow. All right, and then I'm going to be spraying my brush one more time, getting it nice and soaked. And then I'm going to be going in with the 24 Karat Magic Pressed Glitter. And I'm just going to be putting it right over top of that color that we just placed. Doing the same motions that I was doing with the color before, making sure to follow those lines that I just carved out. So that is going to be it for the upper lid of my eyeshadow. And I'm just going to be taking that blending brush there and blending that outer corner in with the glitter. And then I'm using the leftovers to go up under my eye to grab my lower lash line. And then I'm just going to be going in with that dark red from the Jaclyn Hill palette. And blending that onto my lower lash line. And I'm going to be using this tiny little brush here. I'm going to wet it. Going in with Free Spirit. And I'm going to be putting this on the inner corner. And my brow bone. Then I'm going to be going in with a liquid liner to do a little bit of a wing, and I'm going to be using this liquid liner by CoverGirl. Then to go on my lower lash line and my upper lash line, I'm going to be going in with this Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil. And this is in the shade Perversion. And I'm just going to go in and curl my lashes. And I'm just going to be using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And I'm going to go in and coat those lashes. All right, the mascara is on, and I'm going to be setting my face one more time with this e.l.f. setting spray. All right, and for today's lip, we are going in with the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Lipstick. And this is in the shade Alluring. I got this shade in an Allure beauty box when they had their collaboration with Huda Beauty. So I don't know if they have this liquid lipstick for purchase, but if you've got it in the box, any red lipstick will do with this look. So I'm going to be going in and putting this on my lips today. All right, you guys, and that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this holiday makeup tutorial, and I hope you guys get to use it for your holiday times or give you an inspiration for whatever holiday makeup you are wanting to create. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.